This could be the race where our pro esports driver, RRTCC Championship leader Luke Bennett, takes the championship here. This is our final round of the season. He has a 32-point lead in the championship. Anything can happen in racing, we all know that. But pole position for this man. All he has to do is stay there, and he's got the championship at the end of this race. Absolute credit to the Robbins Racing League as Luke has driven a fantastic season. Missed a race or two, but when he's been here, he's been really on the ball. As same with everyone. Everyone's missed a couple of races this season. The console lining up alongside him on P2 has won a couple of races, notably the feature races at Bathurst and Imola, and did a good job at Laguna Seca as well. Kembo on the second row, our American driver from Pennsylvania, coordinator of the GT4 Ginetta League, fantastic commentator as well, has a chance of winning the championship. If he can get himself ahead of Luke Bennett in this race, then the championship will go to the final race, which is the feature race coming up straight after this one. Bobby Dazzler in 5th, always has his car right up there challenging Luke Bennett. Actually, it's been Luke Bennett's biggest rival in most of the races recently in the RRTCC. We've got JR in 6th place there. That guitar dude, big shout out to him as well. Actually was running very high in the championship for a while in this season. We've got JR 6th, Smithy in 7th, Grandad Stee, Murphy in 9th, our coordinator for the Tier 1 RRTCC, the Uni Clark, long-time championship leader in 10th place, Lionsfoot, K Morse and Duff Tino. That is our grid for the RRTCC sprint race. Round 10 here at Spa. We're almost about to get underway here. And lights are out, we're underway. Looks like a good start from pole position there from Luke Bennett. Even better on the inside there from Bobby Dazzler. Got a great bite. He looks like he's going to be up into 3rd place as we head into La Source. Luke Bennett leads the field. Bobby Dazzler straight up into P2 there. So Bobby Dazzler, fantastic start off the line. K Morse, we're seeing making a lot of gains off the line as well in that BMW. Smithy seems to be getting pushed out there by that guitar dude. He has got Kembo, JR just dropping places at the start as well. Murphy 9th, Lionsfoot at the back with Duftino, Grandesty and Uni Clark back at the back of the field. Terrible start from our man from Swindon. What's happening here at the front? Smithy looking to the outside here of that guitar dude as they come down the Camel Straight. Can he hold it around the outside, or is that guitar dude going to hold the position? Smithy very late on the brakes. K Morse definitely stopping him from getting around him. It looks like the contact there between Smithy and K Morse. Smithy's going to try and hold it around the outside. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he does. Smithy is up into 5th place. K Morse in the BMW 6th place. Coming under pressure now from that guitar dude. That guitar dude had a little look up the inside but couldn't make the move. Meanwhile at the front, Luke Bennett checks out. 1.1 seconds is the gap to the console. And looks as though console losing plenty of curb there. So the console has actually got past Bobby Dazzler for P2. Made the move back on him. JR lock and load, dropping places at the start there. It's gone from 6th to 8th, straight off the line. He will look to keep Murphy behind him and hopefully get on the back of Kenbo for P7. Kenbo is right up the back end here of that guitar dude and K Morse into Stavolo. And is Smithy going to try and move up the inside of Bobby Dazzler? No, he's not quite close enough. Smithy definitely hassling though. And we can see in the background Kenbo definitely pressuring that guitar dude for 6th place. These guys do appear to be getting held up a little bit behind K Morse. We're going to ride on board with JR here. He's currently running in 8th place, but he can see 5th place not too far ahead of him. This train of 5 cars here being backed up by Murphy. And JR's going to go for a move here up the inside of Kenbo, and JR is up into P7. Is Ken going to try and fight back on the brakes into the bus stop? He's going to try around the outside. Can he hold it? No, JR blocks him off, covers the line, and Murphy's going to get involved in the action here. Murphy is up, it's ahead of Kenbo up into P8. So they're going to go for a drag down the pit straight. But Kenbo slotting into the slipstream. Kenbo losing plenty of ground. We can see Bobby Dazzler going up the inside of Smithy there for P3, but Smithy's going to get a nice, much better exit out of La Source. And Smithy for now at least holding the position ahead of Bobby Dazzler, our man who races in the GT4 Ginetta League. It's currently 2nd in the championship there. Solid performer in the RRTCC this season as well. Looking back, K Morse appears to have shaken off the challenge here of the guys behind him. Nakatadu, JR losing places down the Kemmel Straight. That car definitely running a little bit too much downforce. And we can see Nakatadu late on the brakes there up the inside of Murphy, our race leader's teammate. Meanwhile, having a look at the front, the console has closed the gap just a little bit here on our Pro Esports driver. Not by a massive amount, but Luke definitely must have got out of shape somewhere on that lap, because he's not too far ahead now of our man from Norwich, the console. Staying with our guys in P5, 6 and 7. We're going to go trackside and see what these guys, see what the crowd are seeing here. It looks like Murphy had a little look up the inside of that Nakatadu, but not quite close enough that time around. In the background, Kembo hassling the back there of JR for P8. JR with his lights on, letting these guys know he's there and he wants the positions, but Kembo's going to have a look around the outside. Nope, not close enough. It looked like JR had a little bit of a compromised entry to that corner, but definitely caught it in the mid part, and he is going to go defensive here because Kembo on the warpath at the moment. Doesn't look close enough. The battle for the lead. Luke Bennett currently showing the way. Just half a second separates him and our man from Norwich, the console. Smithy also in P3, not too far away. Bobby Dazza definitely closing on these guys. So Luke, he had the car sorted in qualifying, put it on pole by a comfortable margin, but in the race it's a very different story. Heavy fuel loads, tyre wear is pretty high as well, so Luke not having this one his own way at the front. The console definitely homing him in. And it looks like Luke might have a showdown penalty from the race director, because he's definitely backed off there coming down the main straight. Is he going to have to back off some more? The console definitely looking very hungry, very feisty and very motivated for that position. Nakatadu's up into P5 up the inside of La Source. K Morse there on the outside looking to fight back in the BMW. We know the BMW with fantastic straight line speed as we head into El Rouge. K Morse, Nakatadu and Murphy are going to go 3 in a line, possibly. Oh, there's contact there, and Murphy into the barriers. Nakatadu there pushing him out wide a little bit. That was never going to work. You can't go too wide going through El Rouge there, guys. That was a recipe for disaster. So Murphy losing heaps of time, heaps of positions. Down in P12 with a penalty as well. Disaster for our moderator on the Robbins Racing Discord. Is Nakatadu going to try on the outside of Kembo? He is. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, and he gets the position. But Kembo's going to have a nicer exit there, coming down the hill into the heavy braking right-hander. But it looks like we've got definitely Nakatadu holding the position on the inside quite comfortably. And the console's taking the lead. Luke Bennett with a slowdown penalty. So the console currently in P1. He's got Smithy all over the back of him though. So these guys absolutely going at it. Luke Bennett, we didn't see what happened there, but it looks like Smithy again having problems. He's got a slowdown penalty as well. Has to let Luke go by. And it looks like all of them with a slowdown penalty from the race director there. So these guys not keeping it within track limits. Luke with a very wide exit out of Stavilo. That's gonna, and there we go. So more slowdown penalties from the race director. Luke Bennett allows the console and Smithy to take the positions. All the while Bobby Dazzler is closing in on these guys down in P4, and JR Lock and Load has cleared the traffic in front of him. So we're going to keep an eye on our man from York here running P5, and we'll be looking to close the gap here on our top 4 guys. So Luke Bennett, our championship leader, can take the championship in this race as long as he finishes ahead of Uni Clark and Kenmo. But definitely struggling at the moment. For some reason that car not working the same as it was doing in qualifying, where he took pole position. And he now has Bobby Dazzler for company here. It's El Rouge, Bobby Dazzler. Nice run there. We're going to keep an eye on our battle for the lead here, as Smithy is definitely in the slipstream here of the console. The console mentioned in practice that he was going for a high downforce setup around this track, but seems to have ditched that one, because that car definitely competing in a straight line. And through the corners, Smithy's all over him. Is Smithy going to look to the outside? No. My console covers him off, but Smithy's going to look to the inside here of this right hand downhill braking section. Oh, console with a bit of a lock up, feeling the pressure as Smithy homes in on him. Luke, meanwhile, also closing on to the back of these guys as well. These guys need to get it done, or they're going to have our Pro Esports driver and championship leader all over the back of them. Back down the field, it looks like Kembo's lost positions. Lionsfoot's up ahead of him, but our American driver putting our Welsh driver under plenty of pressure here down the hill. Let's see who's more confident coming through Pouon. Oh, Scotty a little bit out of shape, keeps it together. Ken's going to get a lovely exit, and is he going to go for a move? He's going to have to go around the outside. Our Welsh driver covers the inside. Doesn't look like he's quite close enough this time around. Back to the leaders. Luke Bennett is alongside Smithy here for P2. Are these guys going to go free wide coming through this flat out section at the back end of the track? Someone's going to have to give going through Blanchemont. Smithy and Luke Bennett are side by side, and Luke Bennett around the outside. He's going to get a slow down penalty for that one. Oh, a contact, the console loses the car, and Luke Bennett's in the barriers. Our championship leader is in the barriers. Oh my goodness, this is going to shake things up massively here in a sprint race for the RRTCC. So the console and Luke Bennett coming together there, coming out of Blanchemont. Just wasn't going to work going three wide through there. So this is going to put this championship for Luke Bennett possibly into question now. Look, JR lock and load in the... all the drama has worked its way up into P3. Just 5 seconds off the lead now is JR. So Smithy now left out on his own by the contact between the console and Luke Bennett. Console definitely losing out massively in that collision. Looks like Luke hasn't lost as much time as he could have done. It'd be interesting to see if the damage does halt his progress in this sprint race. The console's opted to come into the pit lane to get that car fixed up. That we do have damage switched on for the RRTCC in Robbins Racing, so be interesting to see if Luke can keep up. He is actually losing time on the leaders. 6.8 seconds the gap now to the leaders. He's lost half a second in the first sector. Currently Bobby Dazzler also closing the gap on our race leader Smithy. Some interesting developments here in our sprint race here at Spa-Francorchamps. Be interested to have a look at that incident again just to see exactly what happened. It seemed like the console maybe lost it coming out of Blanchemont, had a little bit of a moment, and Luke was just the unfortunate victim, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, had his car put in exactly the wrong place there. But doesn't appear to have got too much damage on that car. Definitely maintaining the gap to the leaders. He's a second behind JR, and JR doing a good job at the moment in our final podium space. Kembo seems to have lost the back of Lionsfoot. Our American driver struggling a little bit. We saw him plenty of pace in the practice sessions, but in the race it's not really coming together for him, down in P8. So at the moment, as it stands, Luke Bennett will take the championship in this sprint race. Uni Clark, our man from Swindon, is down in P9. He's 32 points behind Luke in the championship going into this race. Kenbo 36 points behind. He has to better Luke's result, otherwise the championship's over. So as it stands, Luke Bennett will take the title at the end of this sprint race. We're on lap 6 here at Spa. Anything can happen, but at this stage it's looking very likely that Luke Bennett will be the RRTCC champion here for Robbins Racing. Kembo definitely closing up to the back of Lionsfoot now as we come through El Rouge. Lionsfoot pretty tidy, but Kembo with a nicer exit coming through Redial. And he's going to have the outside coming down the Kemble straight. Looks like Kembo's already past him. Can Lionsfoot fight back here? It's going to be a drag down the Kemble straight here. We're getting some comments on YouTube. The console says he tried to give Smithy the room on the inside. He got loose on the exit. So that was the result of the unfortunate incident there with Luke Bennett. But as it stands, Luke Bennett still in a championship taking position in this sprint race. If he stays, if the race stays as it is in the sprint at the moment, then Luke Bennett will be the RRTCC champion. At the front, Smithy is definitely being reined in now by Bobby Dazzler. Must have had a slowdown or some kind of incident, because Smithy's lost about a second here in the middle sector. And all the time, JR is closing in on these guys in third place as well. Luke Bennett now with that guitar dude for company. I must say, Luke doing an absolutely fantastic job at the moment in our sprint race, having made contact with the console. He could have given up, he could have got upset about it and wondered why it's happened to him, but at the end of the day he's kept going, kept believing in himself, and he's actually almost matching the leader's lap time. So with heavy damage on that car, he's doing a phenomenal job. And Luke, all he's got to do is keep going and stay ahead of Kenbo, who is 14 seconds behind him on the road, and he will take the championship at the end of this race. I keep mentioning it, I keep feeling it's very, very relevant. Luke Bennett, one of the rising stars of the esports sim racing business. We're going to follow Bobby Dazzler here as they head up to El Rouge. He's nicely in the slipstream of our race leader Smithy. These guys, I have a feeling, will be battling out to the checkered flag in this sprint race. JR lock and load not too far behind these guys either. Anything happens to these guys, you've got to feel that JR's going to be there to capitalise. Luke's coming under massive pressure now from that guitar dude. He's going to go drive around the outside of him down the Camel Straight. And Luke's going to have no answer, completely a sitting duck there. But Luke knows all he has to do is stay fifth. He's got a 13-second gap to sixth place. And then Kenbo, the only man who can increase the length of this championship, down in P7. So Luke, I imagine, will be feeling pretty confident at this stage. We know he's a racer. We know that he wants to win every race he takes part in. He's always trying to set the fastest lap on every single lap. Never gives up, this man. So he will be disappointed to have been put out of the running, but I can't say that it's going to bother him too much if he does win the championship. Bobby Dazzler's up into the lead. So Smithy's had a moment there through the middle sector, and Bobby Dazzler has taken P1. Smithy now surely going to try and fight back here as they come into Stavilo. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, not quite close enough. Bobby Dazzler with the lead of the race, but Smithy's going to try up the inside. They're going to go flat out row this right-hander. And side by side, Bobby Dazzler pushed out wide by Smithy. Smithy back up into P1. It's going to be a drag race now as they come round to the final few corners. Oh, it's a little bit of a bump there, but Bobby Dazzler holding the inside, Smithy with the outside. Smithy's going to have a nicer run here as they come through Blanchimont, simply because he's had a better entry to the corner. So he's going to slot nicely into the slipstream as they come towards the bus stop. Can Bobby Dazzler defend from him? Bobby Dazzler taking a very tight line, defends the position. Smithy's going to have to go round him if he wants to make this work. Into the bus stop chicane. Bobby Dazzler positioning his car perfectly through that corner. Maintaining P1 onto lap 8 here of our sprint race here at Spa-Francorchamps for the RRTCC. Oh, bit of a lock up there from Bobby Dazzler, definitely feeling the pressure. JR definitely closing on these boys, but I think it's too little too late. at the moment from our man from York. Got his lights on, showing motivation and hunger, but I think he's a little bit too far behind to get involved in this little battle that we've got going on for first position for our sprint race for the RRTCC. Quick update on the championship. Oh no, let's leave that because Smithy's going up the inside of Lacombe. And he's made the move. Bobby Dazzler there, not finding too much. Just saw him coming, thought I better move out of the way of that one. Smithy back up into the lead. Fantastic racing between these guys, but looks like, oh, Bobby Dazzler getting very wide. But Smithy with a slowdown penalty, plenty of slowdown penalties from the race director here at Spa. The track pretty uncompromising, but Smithy's back up the inside. Fantastic racing between these guys, clean as you like. These are some of the best touring car drivers on the PlayStation 4 platform. We're absolutely delighted, blessed, and so fortunate to have the guys that we've got racing in our Tier 1. And Smithy very wide there. Bobby Dazzler back up into the lead all the time. JR in the background closing in on these boys. We're just hearing from the race director that Bobby Dazzler has got a 1 second penalty, so Smithy doesn't need to overtake him. All he has to do is stay behind him, and Smithy will take this sprint race here at Spa. Quick update on the championship. Luke Bennett running P5, Kembo P6. He's got 12 seconds to our man from the Pennsylvania, so Luke at the moment will be taking the championship in our sprint race before the feature even gets underway. Sticking with our boys at P1 and 2. Bobby Dazzler has it. Smithy wants it. Who's going to get it here as they come out of Blanchimont? Is he going to look to the inside? He is, but Bobby Dazzler covers it off, so Smithy's going to have to be hard on the brakes to avoid him. As they come into the bus stop, Bobby Dazzler's very, very wide, and Smithy's going to try on the outside. He gets a lovely exit. Oh, this is unbelievable. Smithy takes the lead. Smithy up into P1. Bobby Dazzler overtaken at the last corner there, so fantastic racing. Unbelievable stuff here up into La Source. This just gets better and better, and all the time JR watching this unfold must be getting very excited now as he can see these guys battling, going at it here. Kembo definitely seems to have got his foot down. Seems to be closing on our pro esports driver. Knows that he can keep the championship going if he's able to get past him. But having said that, it looks like Kembo's had a moment coming through the source, and Lionsfoot takes P6. So a Welsh driver there has the ascendancy as they come into El Rouge, but Kembo definitely looking to have a look here as they come out of Radio. Down the Camel Straight, it's going to be a drag strip. Sun is starting to set just a little bit here at Spa. As Kembo's going to look to the outside here down the Camel Straight. Can he outbrake him coming into Lacombe? He's going to have the better line. And very late on the brakes, such confidence there from our man from Pennsylvania. Lionsfoot has to concede the position. In the background we have got Uni Clark, second in the championship in the RRTCC. Definitely going to lose lots of points in this one, down in P8, but looking to make amends and try and get up to P6. He's got these two guys right in front of him, so incentive for him. Definitely. Smithy extending the gap here to Bobby Dazzler. 1.2 is the gap at the moment. Bobby Dazzler has got a warning from the race director. He's going to have to back off a little bit. He's already got a penalty, so Bobby Dazzler can't afford to be losing too much time here if he wants to win this race. We're on lap 9 though, so it's getting pretty late in our sprint race for the RRTCC. JR seems to have lost a little bit of time on our leaders. He was closing the gap in the last few laps, but this time round definitely dropped a bit of time. Don't know if he had a moment, maybe it's just these guys responding to his pace. That guitar dude's had a bit of a lonely one in P4, but he's doing a good job. Only 6 seconds off the pace, off the lead, sorry. Luke's gap to Kembo maintaining at the moment. Luke has some hefty damage to that car from contact with the console going through Blanchimont. But championship leader currently on course to take the championship as it stands. We're on to lap 10 in our sprint race. I believe this is the final lap. Out of La Source. Smithy and Bobby Dazzler, just 0.2 of a second separating these guys. As we come into El Rouge, both of these guys struggling for visibility. The sun is definitely setting. Darkness is almost upon us here at Spa-Francorchamps. Look at that lovely picturesque view in the background there. As we come down the Kemmel Straight, just 0.4 of a second separates our boys at the front, but Bobby Dazzler with a 1 second penalty. So he will drop time to Smithy. If he wants to win in this race, he's going to have to get past him and pull away. So Smithy at the moment looking in the box seat for our sprint race here. JR's lost a lot of time on these guys on the last lap, so definitely tailing off. Some of that pace that he had seems to be wearing off a little bit. Maybe those tyres losing grip, losing temperature as the sun sets. Luke Bennett still holding P5, still holding a championship winning position as it stands. Sticking with our leaders here on the final lap. 9/10 is what is the difference between Smithy and Bobby Dazzler. Smithy pulling out a little bit there through the middle sector, and Bobby Dazzler also with a warning from the race director again. Looking back through the pack, and Kembo's pulled a little bit of a gap here to Uni Clark and Lions Foot, but Uni Clark definitely not safe from our Welsh driver. Back with our race leaders, Smithy, Bobby Dazzler. Had an excellent battle in this race. Bobby Dazzler with a time penalty, which will prevent him probably from taking the win, even if he is able to get around Smithy. Into the bus stop chicane. Smithy driven an excellent race in this one in our sprint race for the RRTCC. Flash at these lights, says Bobby Dazzler, good race. Good driving from these two. Smithy takes the win, Bobby Dazzler second, JR completes the podium, that Nakatadu will come down in fourth. And Luke Bennett, our new RRTC champion of Robbins Racing, comes over the line in fifth spot. Well done, Luke Bennett. Fantastic driving all season, mate. Brilliant job. He takes the championship here in our sprint race at Spa. What a season. Fantastic driving. Kembo, the only man who could have made a difference to that, finishes in P6. Uni Clark, P7, although it looks like Lions Foot promoted to P6 with the penalties for Kembo. Will come home in P9 ahead of Duftinia. I just want to say massive congratulations to this man, Luke Bennett. Carried on, kept going despite some contact with the console going through Blanchimont. Really got his head down, kept going with the damage to that car. Hats off to you, Luke. You've driven brilliantly all season, consistently. Always up there, always fighting for the wins. Big thank you to Kembo and Uni Clark. We've still got the feature race to come here, guys. Stay tuned, stay on air. We're going to be we're going to be obviously live for a second qualifying session. So stick with us for that one, but I just want to say huge congratulations to Luke. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got torrential rain in the mountains here. Not the mount. I don't know if it's in the mountains, but I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is. So this is going to be an absolutely fantastic development here. What are these guys going to do? Let's hope they all get the right tyres on, because I'll tell you what, there's been a few pit howlers. There's been a few pit guys howlers so far this season in the Robbins Racing League, notably in the GT3 Championship. A few guys actually pulling out of the Robbins Racing League due to their pit stop guys not getting it sorted for them. So let's hope they're all on the right tyres for the start of this race. JR Lock and Load starts on pole position. Bobby Dazzler lining up alongside him on the front row. We've got Smith in third, Nakatadu fourth. Kembo, our American driver, will be having a hell of a battle with Uni Clark for P2 in the championship. Just to let you guys know, Luke Bennett has won the championship in our sprint race, secured it with a P5 finish. That was enough to secure the point standings ahead of Kembo and Uni Clark, who are going to be fighting it out for P2 in the championship in this feature race. Lions Foot will start P7 for this one. The console down in P8. Disappointing qualifying for him. We've seen him showing the pace so far in practice and in the sprint race. Not sure what's happened to him in this feature race qualifying session. Maybe using a wet setup, getting prepared for the race. Murphy starts P9. We've got Duftino in P10. Grandad Steve P11. K Morse at the back of the field for the start of this race. Lion's Foot will be absolutely delighted to see the rain coming down for this feature race. Known as the Rain Man, our Welsh driver from Swansea, has got a hell of a chance in this feature race of taking the fight to these guys. We know that whenever there's rain in the sky, that Lion's Foot has definitely got a great chance of getting a podium or even a win. We're almost about to get going here at Spa for the feature race, and lights are out. We're underway. Fantastic start from the second row for Smithy. Really got a good bite there. He's going to have to look to the inside here of JR. JR holding the position at the moment. He's got Smithy out the outside. Bobby Dazzler taking a wide line round the source. JR holds the lead for now. Looks like we're all through the corner. First one nicely. K Morse on the outside, going very wide on the outside of Murphy there. As we head up towards El Rouge. Smithy definitely coming under pressure here from that guitar dude. They're going to go too wide coming through El Rouge. Someone's going to have to give, surely. Well, Smithy has to back out of it in the end, but that guitar dude with a compromised run through the corner. Smithy's going very wide there through Radial. Let's hope the boys all keep it together. And looks like they have kept it pretty clean there. So JR stretching his lead at the front as they come down the Kemmel Straight. He's got 0.8 of a second in hand over our man in second place, Smithy. We've got Bobby Dazzler driving up the inside there, that guitar dude up until Lacombe, and he's got the position, so that guitar dude having to back out of that one, but Bobby Dazzler very wide on the exit. Don't know if he'll get a slow down penalty for that one. Kembo up into P5, good start from Kembo. The Uni Clark likewise. K Morse the console falling back. Grandad Steve, oh, who's that? That's that guitar dude. He's spun out, and he's going to lose heaps of positions here. The whole field comes past him. Can just see Murphy there running up the back of Lion's Foot, our Welsh driver, Rain Man himself, having an absolute mare. He's dropped down to 9th place, so our Rain Man expected to be up there fighting for the podium in this race, falling back. So shocking developments here, not what we expected to see at all. Claymores having a look up the inside there of Uni Clark. Uni Clark seems to have got that position, so Uni Clark with an excellent start here, knows that if he finishes ahead of Kembo, who's currently running a couple of seconds in front of him, then he will get second place in the championship. But as it stands, Kembo has got P2 in the championship sorted. He's got past quite a few of the guys there on the first lap, and he is closing in on our three leaders. JR Smithy, Bobby Dazzler. JR's lost a little bit of time going through the middle sector here. Smithy definitely closing in on him as they come towards this flat out section out of Stavilo and into the final sector here. Oh, what's happened? Bobby Dazzler going extremely wide. Kembo's going to pick up the pieces here. Our American driver driving round him up into P3. So Kembo into our final podium spot. Smithy with a compromised run out of that last corner. Maybe he must have hit a puddle there, because I can't see why he's lost so much time to our race leader JR. But JR Lock and Load stretching out at the front of the pack. He said before this race the most important thing to him in the Robbins Racing is the Robbins Racing family. That comes first, the racing comes second. But today JR gets a chance to put his foot down and show these boys what he can do. JR, full-time racer in the AOR GT3 League, fantastic driver, even better of a person, regular broadcaster and commentator. Great to see him running at the front. Currently he's got a 1.5 second gap as he comes out of La Source. Smithy potentially could come under some pressure from Kembo here. Kembo, our American driver, definitely closing on Smithy. Had an excellent sprint race, won the sprint race, but in these conditions not quite as confident. Still doing a good job though. We've got side by side in the background. It looks like Uni Clark crying up the inside here of the console putting him under tremendous pressure. A little bit of contact through El Rouge. Let's see if the console can get a good run out of Radion in the background there. Duftino going extremely wide. Likewise Lion's Foot as well, as he tries to get past Murphy. So Lion's Foot not having a good outing in the rain this time around. Our Rain Man is his nickname, but definitely not got the rub of the green so far in this one. The console has a little look up the inside of Lacombe, but backs out of that one. Not quite close enough this time around. Uni Clark doing a solid job in P6, but as it stands will not take P2 in the championship, because our American driver Kembo absolutely flying at the front. Oh, and I say that! Oh, that's Bobby Dazzler in the background, sorry. So Kembo at the moment with the position to take P2 in the championship. Bobby Dazzler, what happened there? Ran extremely wide there, and that's going to allow Uni Clark and the console to come through. Bobby Dazzler losing heaps of time, heaps of positions, and that's not going to help him at all. Nicky Renee Patterson says in the comments, good luck boys. Great to have you with us, Nikki. Glad you're watching us live on the stream. Nikki, obviously a regular in our GT3 and LMP1 leagues, our weekend leagues. Always a solid guy, great guy to have with us. Works at Silverstone, full time as a marshal, I believe. And actually took his first win in the Robbins Racing League in our GT4 Ginetta G55 Super Cup last Friday at Silverstone. I mean, he should know it like the back of his hands. He goes there every day. But it's great to see him take his first win anyway. Good to have you with us, Nicky, on the stream. So Smithy here, closing onto the back of JR. JR made a mistake somewhere coming through the final sector there. So Smithy all over the back of him. Let's see if these boys are flat out here through Blanchimont in the rain. I imagine they have to lift off somewhat. Well, you saw there Smithy trying to take it flat out, but it's just not coming off for him. And he's definitely lost some time there. JR with good command of these wet conditions. Oh, as I say that though, JR going wide there, having to avoid the puddle on the middle of the bus stop chicane. Down the pit straight to complete lap 2 here. Into La Source. At the moment, JR with the ascendancy. You can see the spray there coming off of JR's car. That is absolutely torrential rain. Must be so difficult for these guys to see what's going on. And is Smithy going to get a run on JR as to come down the Camel Straight? Definitely closing in on him. In the background, Kembo definitely closing on these guys. JR's going to go defensive coming into Lacombe. Is Smithy going to try around the outside? Doesn't look like he's closing up on this occasion, but Kembo definitely having a little cheeky look there up the inside. Big Al says, team the console, go the console. The console currently running in P4 now, so he's got past the K-Morse, but K-Morse looking like he wants that position back. Is K-Morse going to go for a move up the inside? Has a little look, and he's going to go for a dive. The K-Morse up the inside of the console. Great move there from Kieran, our GT4, GT55 champion, Ginetta champion. But the console's going to go for a move back up the inside. These guys going side by side, and Bobby Dazzler's going to try and pick up on these remains as well. He's going to have the slipstream of the console here, and is he going to have a look up the inside of K-Morse? No, he's got a slowdown penalty. He has to back out of that one. He's got Uni Clark not too far behind him. K-Morse is going to try around the outside of Pouon, but that's not going to work on the wet line there. The console with the grip on the racing line. K-Morse having to back out of that one. But the console definitely a little bit down on pace there. Must have had a slowdown penalty. Still trying to hold on to position despite that. K-Morse has a little bit of a wobble. That's K-Morse into the barriers. Yellow flag through the middle sector. The K-Morse is in the barriers. The console there with a little bit of breathing space now. Although having said that, he has got Bobby Dazzler closing onto the back of him all the time. Oh, what's happened? Smithy's at a moment. Smithy losing plenty of time there. Looks like he must have had a collision there with Kembo, because both of them dropping heaps of time there to our race leader JR. In the meantime, Uni Clark absolutely picking these guys off up into P5, looking to get onto the back of Bobby Dazzler here for P4. Our podium spots are in sight now for our man from Swindon, and he's definitely P2 and P3 in the championship, just 2 points separating them going into this final feature race. Kembo into the pits. Driver is the first to blink. It looks like he must be pitting for some damage there, because that contact will have compromised him massively. It'd be interesting to see now what tyres he goes for, because we're in full wet conditions here at Spa. But then saying that, it definitely is going to throw this battle for P in the championship into question, because Kembo's going to lose lots of time and he's not going to be able to put some dry tyres on, simply because it's too wet out there to even consider or contemplate putting the dry tyres on. So this is going to be a difficult race for Kembo now. He's going to have to hope that the rain persists in this feature race, otherwise he is going to lose P2 in the championship to Uni Clark. Meanwhile, we've got the console coming under pressure now from Bobby Dazzler. He's going to look to the outside of Lacombe, but the console more confident on the brakes, holds the position. Uni Clark, Murphy and Smithy all over the back of these boys. This is the battle for P2. We got 5 cars in a line at the moment. Lionsfoot seems to have sorted himself out a little bit now. Running down up in P7 has picked off Lactardu, Daftinio and Grandad Steve. So fighting back is our Rain Man from Swansea. The console holding on to P2. He's got half a second on Bobby Dazzler. Not much at all in the grand scheme of things. Oh, console very wide there. He may have a slow down penalty. Bobby Dazzler's going to look for it. But Uni Clark also right on the back here of Bobby Dazzler. Coming through Pouon. Tricky corner in the dry. But in the wet, I can't even imagine what these guys are going through. Lots of standing water. Plenty of the reservoir effect at the bottom of the hill as well. Unbelievably close racing between these guys. Smithy seems to have dropped off the tail of this pack just a little bit. We know he's got the pace. Has he got the consistency? We're going to find out. We're on lap 4 of our feature race. It's a 10 lap race, same as our sprint race, but this one a mandatory pit stop, and obviously very, very changeable, challenging, tricky conditions here at Spa. Anything can happen. We're on lap 4 of 10 at the moment. Thank you everybody for joining us on the Robbins Racing YouTube. If anyone is interested in joining the Robbins Racing League, just head to www.robbinsracing.co.uk. Get yourselves involved. Get involved in the action. Be one of these guys you see in front of you, fighting out for the wins, the podiums, the glory, the pole positions, everything. It's all over at www.robbinsracing.co.uk. As we see Murphy pull into the pit lane. Interesting to see this. I can't imagine anybody changing to the dry tyres in these conditions. It still looks pretty soaking wet out there at this stage in the race. Let's see what they're seeing. And yeah, I can't imagine anybody's changing to the dry tyres in these conditions. So this must be change onto the wets. Obviously, it's only a 10 lap race here for our feature race, which means that it's more than likely going to stay full wets for the duration. So these guys can be pretty confident in their decisions, but anything can happen, and we know that as soon as the sun comes out here, the track is going to go. It's going to dry rapidly, but at the moment I can't really see it changing too much. We've got a clear forecast, but the track's too wet, in my opinion. We'll have to see what the guys do. It's going to be a fascinating second half of this feature race here for the RRTCC. This is our finale of the season. Be sure to get involved on the website. Sign yourselves up for season 3. You just have to. You'll just need to do a quick enrolment with one of our mods or marshals, just to make sure that you share the same morals and ethics that we do here at Robbins Racing. As long as you're a clean driver, you'll pass that test with flying colours. You can be one of these guys on the track, having your name shouted out, fighting it out on the track. And who doesn't want some of that most authentic sim racing experience on the PlayStation 4 platform? Definitely something to get involved with. Bobby Dazzler going on the defensive here from Uni Clark. We see in our final podium spot. Uni Clark has a little look, but not quite close enough that time around. Lionsfoot closing onto the back of that Guitardo for P6. Our Rain Man, Welsh driver from Swansea, definitely picking up the pace now. We saw him struggling a little bit in the early stages of this race. I definitely thought that his talent in the rain had maybe worn off a little bit, but changeable conditions, definitely always one to look out for is Scotty. Although that Guitardo definitely matching him at the moment. In the foreground we just saw Smithy come past. Smithy definitely struggling in these conditions. We saw he had it sorted in the dry. Won our sprint race ahead of Bobby Dazzler. They had a fantastic battle for P1. But in these conditions, definitely not as strong, which is a shame. But maybe that car setup just not quite nailed on. Lionsfoot with his windscreen wipers in full action here as they head into the heavy braking zone for the bus stop. Smithy's into the pit lane, so Smithy pulls in to make his mandatory stop. That's going to promote that Guitardo up into P5, Lionsfoot into P6. Back to our battle for P3. The Uni Clark holding on ahead of Bobby Dazzler. At the moment, as it stands, Uni Clark will take P2 in the championship. Currently 6 seconds off our leader, JR. Kembo is 48 seconds behind our leader. So once Uniclark pits, he should come out ahead of our American driver, which will give him P2 in our championship standings for the RRTCC. Stay tuned with us, guys. We're on lap 6 of 10 here at Spa. This should be a fascinating end to our race here as they come down the Kemmel Straight. Uniclark so our man from Swindon up into P3, doing a fantastic job. Oh, as he goes very, very wide though, that's going to allow Bobby Dazza to have a look. It's not quite close enough though, but Uniclark definitely not massively confident at the moment. Just having a look at our race leader JR, he has just lost 2 seconds the last time around to our man in P2, the Console. So the battle for the lead definitely heating up. Anything can happen here in our feature race here. Robbins Racing League, you never know what's about to happen, but JR, it's great to see him up in the lead, and I do hope that he can stay in that position. Obviously Alex the Console, excellent driver, moderator on the Robbins Racing Discord, and this is going to be a bit of bragging rights here for the mods and marshals room. Between JR and the Console, definitely. Back to our battle for P5. That Guitardo still holding on from Lion's Foot. Not much to separate these guys though. Just half a second through as they come through Stavilo. You can just see still the spray, still pretty high. And although the track definitely drying out now, and these guys I'm sure will be starting to consider making the switch to dry tyres. Not just yet though. I'd say there's still too much standing water to actually make the change. Let's see what JR, our race leader, does here as he comes round to complete lap 6. Oh, he's gone very wide there through the bus stop. Has to cut the chicane on the inside, and that will allow the Console to close the gap here, and it has indeed. JR with a slowdown penalty, so the Console out dragging JR down the pit straight up into La Source. The Console with the race lead, our man from Norwich. Oh, JR definitely trying to fight back, almost trying to get him on the brakes there as they exit La Source. This is going to be a drag strip up to El Rouge, but it looks like the Console's got it for now. JR with the slowdown penalty there, coming out of the bus stop, losing heaps of time. Definitely the Console looking more confident on this drying track, but anything can happen here as we see the JR pulling into the slipstream here of our man from Norwich. Is he going to go for a move here coming down the Kemmel Straight? Doesn't look close enough in the background. We can definitely see Uniclark looking for some wet patches there, coming off the racing line, trying to keep those tyres nice and warm. I have to say that it's going to be either this time or the next one, the change to the dry tyres. These guys, Kembo, Murphy, guys who changed onto the wet tyres, did an extra pit stop onto the same tyres, will definitely start to struggle in a few moments' time. Lion's Foot having a little look up the inside of that Guitardo, but not close enough that time. This is for P5 and 6. At the moment, as it stands, Uniclark will take P2 in the championship. He's currently running P3. When he pits, he should come out just ahead of Kembo. It'd be very, very close actually between himself and K Morse. I reckon he's probably just about got ahead of K Morse when he pits, so I'm expecting Uniclark to come out in around P6. P6 gets you 20 points in the Robbins Racing League. That will mean he will gain 3 points on Kembo, with the gap 2 points in the championship between those guys in P2 and 3 in the standings. It will mean that Uniclark, our man from Swindon, will be the runner-up for our RRTCC Season 1. Just in case you're just joining us, Luke Bennett took the championship in our sprint race here at Spa. He is the RRTCC champion. Massive congratulations to our pro esports driver from Birmingham. Fantastic job all season, sorry. And hats off to Luke. Consistent performer in every race he has competed in. Actually secured the championship, ironically, with a P5 finish. But I'm sure that won't bother him too much here. JR definitely closing on the Console, and the Console's into the pits. So this is going to be interesting now, because the Console coming in for dry tyres. JR staying out for at least another lap here on the wet tyres. He's got Uni Clark closing onto the back of him now. So is it going to be a payoff? Is it going to pay dividends? Changing onto a new set of the dry tyres. We know that Kenbo and Murphy are both out there running on the wet tyres still. But in these closing laps, as the track dries out, the dry tyres are expected to take over and be a lot faster. So the console making his change onto the dry tyres, emerges from the pits now. This will be a fascinating development to see if JR and Uni Clark can make the gains and close the gap, get the overcut on the console as he makes his change. What's faster at this stage of the race, the wets or the dries? Stay tuned, we're into the final 3 laps here for our feature race in the RRTCC here at Spa. In case you're just joining us, Luke Bennett is the champion of the RRTCC, took P5 in the sprint race. That was enough to secure the championship. He's not with us for the feature race, he had to shoot off immediately afterwards. Lucky that he got the championship in the sprint race in that case. But back with our leaders, JR just in front of Uni Clark, holding on grimly. JR definitely losing pace as the track dries out here. Really had a command of these guys in the wet conditions, but the console and Uni Clark noticeably closing in on him once the track started drying out and the dry line started appearing. We're expecting JR and Uni Clark to, oh my goodness, JR very wide out of Pouon, and that's going to allow our man from Swindon up the inside, Uni Clark up into P1. Be fascinating to see where these guys come out in relation to the console, who has pitted. The console was running P1, these guys were 3 in line astern before the console came in, so it'd be interesting to see where they come out in relation to the console once these guys come in. The console is actually losing time on these guys, so it seems like the switch to the dry tyres has come a little bit early for him, although having said that, certain parts of the track he's making massive gains on these guys, certain parts he's just losing bags of time. So that's the nature of Spa-Francorchamps. Parts of the track are soaking, parts of the track are bone dry. You tend to find that the lower altitude parts of the track are the wettest, and then at the top of the hill it can be absolutely bone dry. Really depends where you are on the track here. So we come into the bus stop. Is this going to be pit stop time for Uni Clark and JR? Well, it is for Uni Clark. Sorry, it is for JR, but Uni Clark is going to stay out for at least another lap. He has got a lot of confidence in these changeable conditions. Those wet tyres definitely still working for him. He's keeping them nice and warm, using as many of the wet patches as he can on the track, driving through the puddles on the straights. So those wet tyres still going at the moment. JR is in the pits. Let's see where he comes out in relation to the console. We're going to ride on board with our man from Norwich as he comes through the final sector here, through Blanchimont. Is he going to be flat out on these dry tyres? Looks like he is. So the console, bags of confidence now that the track is drying out, and as long as there's no puddles, he should be okay. Let's have a look at the bus stop. There's still a massive puddle on the exit, so he carefully treads around that, dips his tyres into it just a little bit, which is going to compromise him very, very slightly. Where is JR? JR's only exiting the pit box now. So the console coming into La Source. JR on the inside here. He's going to be jumped. The console's got the position. The console with the undercut there, changing onto the dry tyres a lap earlier, has got the move. So JR losing out there with his pit strategy, stayed on the wets for just 1 lap too long, and the console making massive improvements with the pit strategy there. And so this will be a fascinating end to the race. Is Uni Clark going to hold on for P1, or has the console done enough on these 2 laps on the dry tyres on a drying track? Uni Clark still keeping at it. He's kept these wet tyres going for 9 laps so far. Fantastic job from him. He's going for P2 in the championship. He should get it as it stands. Obviously Kenbo taking the gamble, changing to the wet tyres, changing to a second set of the wet tyres very early on in the race. Gambled on the track staying wet. It didn't. We've got almost bone dry conditions here in most of the track, except for certain corners where we've got massive amounts of standing water. But the dry tyres definitely the go-to option at the latter stages of this feature race here for the RRTCC finale here at Spa. Uni Clark, the gap to the console, 31 seconds on the track. Seb, I've just seen your message, so you are able to send messages. I've just seen your message, bro. Great to have you with us on the stream. Glad you're watching us. Just having a look here. So the gap between Uni Clark and the console, 31 seconds. So Uni Clark, as it stands, will be jumped in the pits by the console. Possibly JR might have Uni Clark as well. We'll have to keep an eye on this. Our man from Swindon is going to come into the pits this time. Oh, running through the puddles there. That was not good from him. That guitar dude and Lions Foot also still have to make their mandatory pit stops. So that guitar dude coming into the bus stop will peel off to the right here and come into the pit lane, as will... Oh! That guitar dude disqualified for speeding in the pit lane. Lions Foot comes in, so that guitar dude going a bit hot-headed there into the pit lane on the last lap of our feature race, and he will be gutted there. That was a few points down the drain. So Lions Foot now into the box. It'd be interesting to see if the console comes out ahead of Uni Clark. It looks like he's going to. Oh, Uni Clark's on the exit now. So Uni Clark has done it, but he's on the wet tyres. He hasn't changed his tyres, so can the console reel in our man from Swindon on the last lap? He's got 6 seconds to catch up on him, but Uni Clark on the much slower tyres on this last lap. He did not change his tyres, so the console's going to have a massive pace advantage on the last lap. JR not able to capitalise. So this is going to be down to whether the console can reel in Uni Clark on this last lap. Uni Clark on worn out wet tyres, the console on fresh dry tyres. This is going to be a fascinating last lap. Obviously the pace not really showing down the Kemmel Straight, but we will see the difference here as they come into Lacombe. Hard on the brakes, the console. He's gained a second just through that one corner. This is going to be an unbelievable finish to our feature race. The last lap of the season for the RRTCC. Round 10 at Spa, and Uni Clark on very shaky legs at the moment. 3.6 seconds the gap here. The console closing every corner. You can see that gap coming down visibly. There's the Uni Clark. And there's the console. The console very, very wide there. He will get a slowdown penalty. He'll have to back off a little bit. But he is pushing that car to its absolute limits. The gap 3 seconds now into Pouin. The console on the limit now. He can see that Monster Energy livery car up ahead of him. In the meantime, JR sticking with these guys in third. Solid job in this race here from JR. 2 seconds now the gap. Coming down all the time. You can see that car. This is going to be an unbelievable finish. Oh my goodness me. Uni Clark, worn wet tyres. Can he hold on to the position here? He's done a phenomenal job of getting these tyres to last this long. But the console now right up his trumpet into the slipstream. He's going to come out of the slipstream and have the move done before we get to Blanchimont by the looks of it. Although Uni Clark with some good straight line speed. And Uni Clark's going to be praying for some puddles here at the last part of this lap because the console on fresh rubber, dry tyres. Oh my goodness me. Through Blanchimont, both of these guys flat out. Uni Clark covers the inside, the console to the outside. What is going to happen here as they come into the bus stop? Uni Clark covers the inside, the console with a nice run there. He's going to get a beautiful exit coming out of the bus stop. And he's going to do him. The console around the outside. But he does have a penalty. So the Uni Clark's going to get the win because the console doesn't have enough of a gap to him. The console over the line to take the win on the road. But Uni Clark, without the penalties, is going to take the win for the feature race. Uni Clark, fantastic job. Takes P2 in the championship with it. The console with a lovely move around the outside of the bus stop. Got a penalty for extending the track on the exit of turn 5. So that will put paid to console's chances of taking the win. Great driving from the console at the end, despite that penalty. JR completes the podium, was closing in on those guys like crazy at the end of that race. Smithy P4, Bobby Dazzler finishes in 5th place. Lions Foot over the line in 6th. Then we got Kembo coming through the bus stop now. Disappointment for Kembo, the collision there with Murphy put pay to his chances of getting P2 in the championship, excuse me. K Morse in the BMW, not a great one for him in these wet conditions. The BMW definitely struggles in these conditions. Grandad Stee will finish in P9. He's got time to get over the line, so he will finish the race. I want to say massive congratulations to Uni Clark on the win in that race. Managed to take a gamble there at the end. Elected to not change the tyres. He would have saved about 15 seconds in the pits by not changing tyres, and in the end just about held on from the console. We were expecting that the console would have had Uni Clark change tyres, but felt like he didn't need to. An inspired choice by my man from Swindon. P2 in the championship is his reward for taking that gamble. I want to say console, fantastic driving from him. JR, really good job there in third place, completing our podium. Solid job. Thank you ever so much to all of the RRTCC guys for making this league being what it has been. This championship's been a huge success. We can't wait for season 2. I hope that all of you guys watching on stream would join us for next season. It's going to be an even better, even closer championship. Massive congratulations to Luke Bennett for taking the championship. We'll see you guys next season for the RRTCC. Make sure you join us on Thursday for Thursday Night Lights. We'll be taking the Formula Rookies around Brands Hatch GP for that one. Thursday Night Lights will be staying for the off season, so we'll still have that one for you guys. Championships will take a backseat for our off season in December. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. I will see you next season for Robin's Racing's Touring Car Championship. Peace.